morning from sunny San Diego. Actually, it's not so sunny. It's a bit overcast. Very strange. Anyway, hello, happy Tuesday. I'm going to talk to you again about value today. Last time we talked about just value as value and the different aspects of it. And today we're going to talk about the value of time. So last week we were looking at how valuable we are and we can be, and by being valuable we can grow our businesses, right? I talked about how if you want to grow your business, then do something good for somebody, build good rapport with people, get a good reputation for being, a trustworthy, a reliable, good person, and then people will want to hire you to do whatever it is that they need to have done, right? And actually, I'll just refer back to my notes. Yes, and how you can get anything you want in life if you help others get what they want. And I told you how I used to think that was a Zig Ziglar thing that was only about MLMs, but it's actually about everything. And finding the value that people have in what it is that you have. So whatever it is that you're trying to sell to people, find the value for them in what it is. Right? So some people are going to see certain things and some people are going to see other things. That's why it's a good idea to focus on your niche. And I'm going to talk about that at some other point. Can we take a note, please, production team, to remind me to talk about having a niche at some point. Okay, so today is the value of time. And this is an absolutely enormous one with a lot of CEOs and entrepreneurs I talk to, because they completely forget that their time is valuable. Yes, they forget that their time is valuable. Have you heard that horrible old phrase, time is money? Well, it may be horrible, but it's still true. So let me give you an example of something that might happen. So I have, let me think. Yes, I've got a business, for example, where I send out massive numbers of greeting cards. And I used to do that myself. And I love doing it as well. So it's a kind of a joy thing for me. It is not directly related to my income necessarily. And it is not, so it's not one of my big income generating activities that I do, but it's something I like to do. And it can be actually really time consuming. Sometimes I kind of think it's a bit therapeutic, but it is actually really time consuming. So is it better for me to do that myself or pay someone to do it for me? So I've had that similar conversation with a lot of business owners, and they say, oh, it's much better for me to do it myself because I don't have to pay anybody to do it then. If I hire someone to do it, I'm going to have to pay that other person to do it. What about paying you? You need to get paid. If you're doing this, you can't be doing something else that somebody is paying you for. Get it? Do something that has more value that you can get paid for, and then give the less value, in other words, not income generating activity, to somebody else to do at a lower rate than your rate, regardless of what that rate is. Regardless of what that rate is. Okay? Right. I work with a lot of MLMers. I work with a lot of virtual assistants. I work with a lot of health professionals. Now, a health professional is supposed to be helping people fix their bodies. So do you think doing social media posts is the best place for them to be in terms of earning money? Not necessarily, unless their clinic is closed and it's not a good time for them to be doing Zoom calls. Do you think a VA's best activity is spending hours putting data into something, doing data entry? No, because data entry doesn't pay particularly well, and other VA activities pay better. So you should hire somebody who's cheaper to do data entry, and you should be doing the more complicated and skill required and, you know, higher value activities yourself, right? So when people say time is money, that's absolutely real. Do not underestimate the amount of value your time has. It is never a better option for you to sit there for hours on end doing something that's easy to do and doesn't directly lead to more money coming in, when you could be out there doing the things that are leading to more money coming in. So the value of time is about the value of time for you. Right. So let's break it down. How much do you want to earn every month? 10 grand? Let's work with 10. It's an easily broken down number. How many weeks in a month? 4-ish. What's the income that you need to be generating every week then? $2,500, right? $2,500 per week. How many days do you want to work? 5, right? So how many dollars do you have to make per day in order to make your $2,500 a week? 5 days, 50 a day. Is that right? 50 and no, 500. 500 and 500 is 1,000, 1,500, 2,000, 2,500. You need to earn 500 a day. Now, if you are charging $500 an hour, ping, you're working an hour a day. What you do with the rest of your time is completely irrelevant. If you're earning $5 an hour, you don't even get to sleep, right? So how much are you earning per hour? Well, that depends. That depends on what remuneration you're receiving for the activities that you do. All right, so I'm a coach. I spend a certain number of hours in front of students coaching them, right? They pay for that time. Behind that, I prepare what I'm going to do, what I'm going to work on with them. I might create worksheets that they might use. I might have something on a Google Drive I'll share with them. I might have to answer questions that they send me in between. So there's a lot of other work that goes into that. So if I were charging $500 an hour, then it wouldn't be just that 1 hour. It could be another 2 or 3 hours a month that I'm actually doing activity that is involved in that hour, in that $500 of work. So if I'm coaching for an hour, say, and I'm also doing, say, another 2 or 1.5 hours of work, that's 2.5 hours of work. So is my $500 paying me for an hour? No, it's paying me for 2.5 hours, which means I'm only getting less than that an hour. Oh my God, I wish I'd learnt mathematics at school properly. My daughter could probably do this in her head. She could probably do it standing on her head. But help me out here. If I think I'm earning $500 an hour, but I'm actually working for 2.5 hours to earn that $500, then I think I'm only getting paid $250 an hour, aren't I? Half that. Anyway, it's a lot less. I hope that rather than focusing on the fact that I'm useless at maths, you're actually focusing on the fact that what I'm saying is really important here, because you might not be thinking about it. You might be thinking that that 1 hour is earning $500, but it isn't. It's actually 2.5, 3 hours, maybe even 5 hours. If I'm working for 5 hours a week in order to be able to coach for 1 hour, and I'm getting paid $500, then that's only $100 an hour, which is a lot less than $500 an hour. You see where I'm going with this? Right. My husband recently did some work for somebody. It was something he enjoyed doing. It was something that was absolutely essential for the company that he's dealing with. And it was something that the owner was not able to do or inclined to do. But if it wasn't done, it would have got stuck. And he didn't spend every single hour of every single day. But if you can work on the basis of approximately 40 hours a week, I would say, and he probably actually works 60 or even 80 hours a week, he probably spent half that time for 3 or 4 weeks getting this thing done. When you think of how many people he needed to talk to and all the research he needed to do, and then writing it all out and then rewriting it and then re-asking the people and then organizing Zoom meetings that everybody could get together to talk, all that time went into it. So I would say he quite easily spent 100 hours working on it. Oh, it could have been a lot more. And in exchange, he asked for some product. And when he told me what he'd asked for, I said, "What? You spent hours doing that?" He didn't understand the value of the time that he spent. Had the person he was working with for paid a professional to do that job, it would have cost several $1,000s. $5,000, $10,000, $20,000 easy. But because my husband was doing it out of the goodness of his heart, he didn't think his time had any value. Big mistake. Huge mistake. Don't do that. Don't make that mistake. That was the first thing that was wrong. The second thing that was wrong was that while he was spending those massive numbers of hours doing that I really and truly favor for somebody, he wasn't doing the activity that actually generates an income for him on a daily basis. Now, why do you think that is? Because this was way more fun. This was something different. This was something that was more interesting. This wasn't the daily grind. The daily grind is picking up the phone, talking to people, right? Dealing with issues that people are bringing up, hearing sub stories about how awful everything is and trying to help people put things right. That's the day-to-day of what his business is about. This was fun. Therefore, it didn't feel as though the time was so valuable. Again, big mistake. Just because something is fun does not mean it has less value. Even though it's easier to do, it doesn't mean it has less value. Do not underestimate the value of your time to somebody else. To someone else, that time could have easily been worth $5, $10, $15, even $20,000. To him, because he was having fun, it was worth a piddly, silly little amount of money. But it was also taking him away from what his main work is. So he wasn't doing that because he was all jazzed up about working on the project and he was not jazzed up about his day-to-day activity, which brings me to another point. And that is, you must make sure you handle your IGAs, your income generating activity, first thing in the morning before you do anything else. Never mind how jazzed up you are about a special project you're working on or how mind-numbingly unpleasant you find the task of doing your general daily activities that bring in the money, that actually bring in the bacon, which is what's going to put the roof over your head and pay your cell phone bill, right? That you can't live without those, even if you're not in business. So figure out what your income generating activities are. Figure out what it is that you do on a daily basis that actually generates income or directly leads to generating income, right? And get those done as early as you can. Then the rest of the day is loafing time. You know what else happens? Because you know you've done the hard stuff, you feel good. It's like doing a good deed to humanity. You feel good. Also, you've got things checked off your to-do list first thing in the morning. You feel good. Then you feel even better going into your fun project, whether you're getting paid to do that or not. Doesn't matter. So don't underestimate the value of your time. Make sure you know what the value of your time is. Your $500 for 1 hour of coaching isn't just 1 hour because you've got preparation time. You might have to create something. You've got follow-up time. You've got to download the Zoom video and put it in the shared Google Drive so your students can access it later on. That all takes time. Unless you can pay someone else to do it so that you can focus on more prep and more coaching and more selling to get more people in so that you've now got 4, 5, a dozen, 2 dozen people paying you $500 for that hour. Now we're talking. Now we're making money because the preparation and the follow-up is the same. There will be more toing and froing because there will be more questions potentially, but you can come up with template answers to many of the questions because you bet your bottom dollar that people are going to be asking the same thing. Like, where's the link to the so-and-so? There's the template answer. If you watch my Google video where I was showing you how to do stuff in Google, there's a lot of information about how you can do things for free. That's got information about how you can do templates. That was only a couple of weeks ago. So what have we learned today? What's the big takeaway for today? Value your time. Your time really is precious. Do the most valuable stuff as early in the morning as you can, right? Some of it you can do before people wake up. If it's to do with emails and stuff like that, get it done. If you're doing it the night before and scheduling your emails to go out first thing in the morning, great, if that's what your income generating activity is. It is not customer care or customer service. It's to do with making sure that you can deliver your product, your high value product, and it's usually to do with sales. It's actually getting more people to buy from you. That's where the money is. Generating invoices, it could potentially be chasing invoices. Everybody hates doing that, so hire someone to do that. But making sure that the invoices are created and go out, that sort of stuff is income generating activity. So you need to figure out what that is. Make sure it gets done as early in the day as possible. Make sure you get paid first. Then figure out the activities that you're spending a lot of time doing that aren't the big income generating activities that could actually be given to somebody else and hire a VA. I know loads of VAs. Come to me if you need to hire a VA because, you know, I'm happy to share VAs. I seem to have, I don't know, over the years accumulated rather a large database on VAs. So let me know if you need a VA. Let me know if you want to sit down and talk through figuring out what your income generating activities are. Let me know if you don't know what you're worth. You don't necessarily have to meet with me. You can email me at andrea@myhomebiz.tips and you can say, can you talk more about how to figure out how valuable you are? Can you talk more about this? And I will incorporate that into my Tuesday trainings. Right? I will do an episode on whatever it is that you need. So let me know what is helpful. If I've talked about something and I've left you thinking, didn't quite get that, let me know and I'll go over it again. My purpose here is to give you information that you can actually use. Excuse the pun, but it has value. Okay. It's worth something to you. So if you have something that would be worth it to you, but I don't know about it yet, let me know. Or you can go to the website, myhomebiz.tips, and you can put in a comment. You can write a comment, right? While you're there, have a look at previous interviews we've done with guests. They might have some golden nuggets. And if you have had great success in your business in some aspect, and you'd like to share that with our audience, there's a form on the training page that you can fill in as well. In fact, there is a direct link for that. And hopefully I'll be able to share that with you at some point. So remember, your time has value. Do not waste it. Think of your time in terms of quarters. Think of a bucket full of quarters. You wouldn't just pour that away, would you? You'd pick them up and think, what's the best way of spending these quarters? How can I get the best value for my quarters? Your time is the same. Don't waste it, not when it comes to business and earning money. Okay, so go to the website, reach out to me by email, in the Facebook group, ping me on Instagram, or send me an in message in through LinkedIn, or whatever it is. The Facebook group is facebook.com/groups gain and retain clients, because ultimately that's where the money is in the business. Okay. And if you go to myhomebiztips/trainings, at the bottom of that page, you can apply to be interviewed on our show. Okay. Just if you do have something really useful that you'd like to share with the audience. So that's it for today, people. I was going to say ladies, but I know you're not all ladies. We've got ladies and gentlemen. Does anyone have a question or a comment before I disappear? Good. Excellent. Yes, this leads on really well from talking about value and the value that you're creating last week. Now we're talking about the monetary value that your time has. And next week, maybe we'll talk about the value of money and what to do with it and how to not lose it and how to invest it into your business. Let me know if you think that would be useful. And go out and have a wonderful rest of the day. And I'll see you here, bright and shiny. Yeah, the sun's shining a bit more now, but it's still overcast. Next Tuesday. Take care. See you then. Bye-bye.